We are the heartbeat of Seattle.
Hello, and thank you for stopping by. This morning, I would like to talk to you about an issue that came to my attention just yesterday. I should have known about this because I have assumed this before, where people that are in the news write their own narrative and give it to the news and expect the news to rattle it off like it's actual news. And today, I wanted to bring up some such subject which deals with Amazon. It says local TV stations air Amazon's PR piece on worker safety as if it was a real news story. Several local news stations are running a segment produced by Amazon touting its warehouse worker conditions. The segment comes as Amazon faces mounting concerns from warehouse workers across the country who say the company hasn't done enough to keep them safe during the pandemic. Amazon spokesperson said that this type of story, often referred to as a video news release, isn't unique to the company, which means that Amazon's done it before. And you, the unsuspecting viewer, assumed it was real news done by the news station on Amazon. Video news releases have been an ethical problem for local TV stations for ages, since the outlets rarely disclosed that the segments weren't independently recorded. They're not at liberty to say that, and they will not say that if the piece that they're airing seems like it is actual news. To get further into this, I'm going to read you this, and then I'm going to comment on it as I go along. That's how I do. That's what I do. Local news stations are running a segment produced by Amazon touting its efforts to keep warehouse employees safe from the coronavirus. The segment includes pre-recorded footage of its fulfillment centers, interviews with workers, and a pre-written script for anchors to read on air, according to Amazon release. It promises to give outlets a first look at how the company is keeping its associates healthy and safe and still able to keep packages flowing. Well, that's good, but it's extremely shifty on Amazon's part, because Amazon can make anything look good. I mean, I'm a cook. I love to cook, and I can take almost anything and make it taste like $1,000,000 if I know what to add to it. And just because I know what to do doesn't make it so. Doesn't mean that it's worth $1,000,000. Amazon shows you footage that makes them look great. Amazon will not show you footage of things that look bad, like overworked workers, close-knit environments, where they're at least 2 or 3 feet apart. When you're on an Amazon assembly line, there's times when you have to be extremely close to get those orders out. Amazon's not showing you that. They're showing you segments that make the company look good. And it looks like when they're doing this that the local news has went and did their own independent study and went in with video cameras and taped it themselves. The testimonials in this video package included the testimonials included in the package differ greatly from the conditions described by Amazon warehouse employees during the pandemic. Of course, it's going to sound different because Amazon's going to show you that they are above board, that they mean safety first, when everybody knows that it's profit first in a major corporation like that. Employees are a dime a dozen. If you don't offer anything to their company that's going to put them under if they don't hire you or keep you, you're a dime a dozen. When you're fired or let go, there's about 100 million people waiting for your job that would be very glad to get it. It says here, described on Amazon's warehouse. Since March, tensions have been growing between Amazon workers at its facility across the country as the number of positive cases and deaths from the coronavirus. You gotta forgive me. It's still early. Let me reread that. Since March, tensions have been growing between Amazon workers at its facilities across the country as the number of positive cases and deaths from the coronavirus continues to rise. Amazon has previously said it's gone to great lengths to keep workers safe, but the workers continue to say the company hasn't done enough. And that's a double-edged sword there, because you can do all you can do, and there's going to be people that assume that you haven't done enough. Because sometimes no matter how much you do, it's always never enough. But with this, I believe that Amazon is doing a little sleight of hand. They want you to keep looking at what they're doing here while they're over here doing all of this. It is unclear how many television stations ran the segment. At least 2 stations promoted the segment on Twitter, while other TV reporters on Twitter called out Amazon for sending them the pitch. Zach Rowell, he said, "I just got an email from Amazon's PR team with a pre-edited news story and a script to run in our show. They are selling this as giving our viewers an inside look at the company's response to COVID-19. No, let us go inside and a fulfillment center with our own cameras." And that's what I suggest, Amazon, is for you to let independent news people come in, and if they come out with the same story that you're giving them, that's even better. But if they're finding things are awry and amiss, that you need to fix it, then you need to fix it. Either that or go back to selling books, because that's how you got started, wasn't it? Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont criticized Amazon on Twitter, referring to the segment as propaganda and calling on the company to provide sick leave to warehouse employees, which garnered a response from Amazon's publicity accountant. Amazon's policy. Senator Sanders: "Even prior to this crisis, our benefits included paid and unpaid time off options for employees. We expect to invest approximately $4 billion in COVID-related pay, benefits, and safety measures to keep delivering to customers and ensuring our people are safe." Bernie Sanders replied, "Maybe Jeff Bezos, the richest man on earth, should focus on providing all of his workers with paid sick leave instead of pushing out propaganda to local news stations." Right on, Bernie. An Amazon spokesperson disputed claims that segments were crafted as an attempt to reframe the story about its warehouse worker conditions. Oh, really? "We welcome reporters into our building, and it's misleading to suggest otherwise," the spokesperson said in a statement. Well, if that's true, then I think people from the local news should go and take cameras and get some independent reporters, maybe get together, 5, 4, 9, 11, or whatever you guys have wherever you're at. Get together, King 5 maybe. They could bring 3 or 4 other reporters with them from different news stations. You all could do the segment together, and you all can split the profits. The video was created to share an inside look into health and safety measures we've rolled into our buildings, and was intended for reporters who, for a variety of reasons, weren't able to come tour one of our sites themselves. Well, they can't come and tour your site because you won't let them. I know a few reporters that have tried to go, and you said no. Cameras weren't allowed. Company-produced segments such as these, often referred to as Amazon news releases, aren't a new phenomenon. They aren't unique to Amazon. News outlets are often provided video news releases by companies, PR firms, and advertising agencies to aid with the reporting process or to run the content as a segment on its own. The practice has been criticized because it may not be clear to the viewer that the segment was produced by a company. For example, in the Amazon segment this week, some local anchors credited the producer of the piece without disclosing he works for Amazon. Well, yeah, okay, I guess that works. But, it's not just businesses that do puff pieces like this. And I call this a puff piece because they want it to look nice and pretty and all cotton candy. Now, if you remember, back in 9/11 of 2001, there were several news reporters out on the street watching the Twin Towers come down. And one of the news reporters got a message. It came rather quickly, too. It wasn't that far right after the second tower was hit. That person, the news anchor, tilted his head down, touched his ear as if he was getting a message from a news feed, and he said that he had it from a reliable source within the White House that Osama bin Laden had just bombed the second Twin Tower. Now, as soon as that was put on the air, every single news agency ran with it. They didn't do their investigating. They didn't talk to people that said it was a bomb that went off in the building. They didn't talk to anybody that said it looked like it was a missile. They had people on the street that were planted to tell you that it was a plane that hit that building. It was a plane, they said. It went with the narrative that the federal government was pushing out at that time. It had to be Osama bin Laden. It had to be a terrorist attack, because if it was anything other than that, they could not achieve their agenda. Just like Amazon and its agenda. It wants everybody to think it's safe and cozy to work there because they want more people to work there. And you're not going to want to work at a place unless you're extremely, extremely strapped for cash and got your back up against the wall with the cue ball staring you in the face. You're not going to want to work for some place that's unhealthy to work in. Amazon wants to make itself look good because it's doing a lot of things such as opening up shelters now. It's partnering with Mary Jo's Place in Seattle, which there's a Mary's Place here in Minneapolis, but it's not the same as the Mary's in Seattle. And so it wants you to think that it's doing good and that it's above board and that it cares about its employees more than it does its money, which is not true. Any company that tells you they care about their employees more than their money are the ones that aren't making a whole lot of money. And it's maybe a family run business, or it's a mom and pop store or a mom and pop restaurant where everybody is family there. Profits come second, family comes first. But with Amazon, it's profits come first, family comes second. If you have anything that you can add to this, if you know more than I do about this, put a comment down below. I would love to hear from you about it. Also, if you want to hit that big old subscribe, hit that big old thumbs up button, do that too. Hit the thumbs up. Also, if you want to subscribe, there's a little button for subscribing just right down under this video. Pretty much right underneath the right hand side of the video as you're watching my video. It's on your right hand side. I wanted to just leave you with this thought. Let's make the world better tomorrow than it was yesterday by doing the very best we can today. Have a good afternoon, Seattle, America, and all points beyond.